Alright guys, so I just took this long here since we've basically just pushed below the POC. We've pushed steeper into this high volume node. What I really liked watching this price action over here for a little bit is we pushed down into this 56s. We formed a large negative delta and we immediately pushed up off that, showing the absorption. You guys can see on volume by price here as well. We have 612 contracts here. So I'm going to be looking for price to push up into essentially high of day from this point, or at least the value area high, which up into the value area high, we're possibly talking about 3.5R. Into the high of day, we're talking about 5.9R on this trade. So I'm actually thinking if we come and revisit these highs, and we can go up significantly higher than that. And the way this market has been forming over this last few hours is we have a big push up, then a steep pullback. We already have a big push up now, steep pullback into a high volume node. So if we are going to bounce, we're likely to bounce from this area here, which I'm going to just leave that on the side there. So currently I have my stops set down here. As you guys can see, stops are a little bit wider just because I want to give price a little bit more room to breathe, which let me actually set the stop loss itself. So stop loss is going to be here for $12,000 or 1.4% of my account. Then I'm going to send my take profit all the way up here at high of the day for 8% of my account. So we'll see this plays out. We see some nice buying stepping in here. We see how the POC shifted down here too. It's a good sign for us. Yeah, that absorption is still holding there. So, I mean, it's solid. We got very close to stop loss. Got a little concern there, but we should hold above the POC now. We should push up off of here. So we're starting to see a push up off of here. I'm already floating about 1R. $1.4R. Big buyer just came in, 800 contracts. We should see a push up from here. Pushing up with some nice volume. Floating what, 2R almost? What am I risking? 12 grand? Yeah, I thought so. Floating 1.7R. Super strong close on the time frame charts. Solid. We got some selling trying to set up in here at the 67s, but it's not really anything I'm too worried about. Getting a little bit of a pullback. All right, we're pushing through this with some speed here. Ideally, we need to start reclaiming above this area. Once we've reclaimed above, defend and then push through. I'm gonna show my stops even more to this candle low here. So right now we're floating 3.4R. I've got 2R in the bag, aiming for this 6R target. We're pushing through with some speed. I think if we could really get through these 80s, 87s here, then, you know, we keep up with this momentum, we could probably even push through high of day, because ideally, you know, the area that I was targeting, well, it's not going to load my Wi-Fi so bad, is up here, where we have a high volume node, basically right here. I'll put the take profit. We have a high volume node, and it's the 5900s on futures, which is going to be a crucial level from yesterday. So we'll see if we can get up there. You know, I'm not really too eager on taking profit in like these areas here. I really want to try and let this winner run, and I'm thinking we could push up all the way up there. I've already secured 2R, so that's good. If we could see a nice, strong, solid push, we got buys accumulating up here at the 74s. So if we could see a nice, strong, solid push, then, I mean, I think we could be pretty good for those next levels. I'm going to make myself a coffee. Unfortunately, guys, as I got up, I ended up deciding to make myself a coffee here. I ended up getting on the phone, and I completely forgot to unmute my mic. So I'm going to have to give you guys a walkthrough through the rest of the trade. So at this point in time, we did see a large seller actually come in here at 58.75, which wasn't really a concern of mine, because ideally what I was looking for, not only did I have a really nice size trailing stop, but ideally what I was looking for was for the buyers to defend and hold price above the value area high. And if they can successfully do that, then we should see a continued push up. So as you guys can see, at first, this is going to be the 32 tick range footprint chart. It looks like we're rejecting. It looks like we could potentially see a move back to the downside, and I decided to actually consult with the 20 tick range footprint chart. What you can see here is that aggressive seller come in. You can see some aggressive selling coming in after that candle. But the one thing I want you guys to also keep in note and keep in mind is, yes, we did have that aggressive seller come in, but price still kept pushing up. That's typically a big red flag after you see a large trade come into the market like this. Then the next cluster, we pulled all the way back down. You guys could still see the selling imbalance. And basically what I was explaining here was ideally, like, it doesn't matter that we see all this selling coming into the markets. We want to see the buyers defend and hold price above the value area high. So if we look at this action here, we have large selling that came in here. We have a lot of selling that came in here, a negative 127 on the delta. And you guys can see how aggressive the sellers got inside of this cluster here, but price is still pushing up, letting us know that we do have passive buying supporting price and buying up each one of these dips. And what I was also talking about here is we could see how on the volume profile is actually starting to get wider in these prices, letting us know that there's a lot of volume being traded at this level. So when you put into consideration that the amount of volume that's being traded at this level, along with all of that selling, what that lets me know is that we do have absorption here and we do have passive buying supporting the market at this value area high and around these prices, giving us a higher probability for price to continue to push in my favor than come down. Can things change? Yes, things can definitely change and price can come down, but the probability is in my favor for price to actually continue in my direction. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see a little bit of a push and a break to the upside here, and then price just starts to consolidate. And again, my whole thesis is as long as the buyers hold above the value area high, we should revisit that high of day. So you guys can see here, after a little bit of time, which keep in mind, this is a range bar chart. So we spent maybe, let's call it 5, 10, 15, this is a 3-minute time frame. So we spent maybe about 15 minutes consolidating inside of this area, this value area high, before we really saw that big breakout to the upside, and we're starting to push up into the high of day here. And what I also mentioned was look at the cumulative delta here as well. Positive 1317, negative 333, positive 185, positive 94, and we have delta divergence here as well. We also have a positive 110. So we do have buying still coming into the markets. We should see price continue to actually push up. And if it doesn't, then I have my trailing stop loss set at an area that is going to invalidate the rest of my move. That's what's more important here. When you guys are using trailing stop losses, I don't want you guys to think, well, you know, if price pulls back to here, then that's it, I don't want to be in the trade. It's no. If my trailing stop loss gets hit, that is because price is most likely not going to go up to the rest of my take profit, and we're most likely going to see a reversal come in, and I'm probably wrong on the rest of the direction, although I was temporarily right on direction for a certain point in time. Again, a trailing stop loss works the same exact way as a stop loss. If that trailing stop loss gets hit, will the trade still be valid? Will the trade still be valid? If it is a yes, then you have an improper stop loss, improper trailing stop loss. If the answer is a no, then you have a proper trailing stop loss, because you want to be in the trade as long as the trade is still valid and the thesis and the projection is still valid as well. So we can see real strength starting to come into the markets. You can see how much buying is starting to come in here at these 58.82s as we're pushing up into the high of day. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback, which again, the concern for me here is as long as we hold above the value area high, we should see price continue to push up. But then again, like, we're so close to targets. I didn't want price to come all the way down, stop me out, and then potentially reverse when I left like a decent chunk of bone on the table. So what I'm saying is, you know what? I think I'm going to trail my stop loss to where this big seller came in the markets, because you guys could see on the footprint chart here, all of this selling. I'm going to actually go back a little bit. You guys can see on the footprint chart here where all of this selling came in. So ideally, I would like to see the buyers defend and hold price above all of that selling and use that as liquidity to continue to push up. Because remember, look at the higher time frame footprint chart now. The buyers are buying up each one of these dips. So that was my thesis. If we dip down, I want to see price maintain above where all of this selling actually came in. Then ultimately, you know, we consolidate for a little bit. I'm kind of just waiting. You can see we're consolidating here. Now, what I was kind of debating and thinking about doing was moving my stops under these lows here. But at the same time, you know, I didn't want to see price come for maybe a steeper test of all of this selling liquidity and then potentially push up off there and get stopped on my trailing stop loss. So I was just still holding my position, still trusting my plan, my thought process, my thesis. Now, as you guys know, this was like a 6.5 hour trade in this situation. I'm floating $66,000 in profit here. So now we're starting to see a real push, and then immediately what we see here confirming strength. 1, 2, 3, 4 stacked buying imbalances, meaning that there's 300% more contracts aggressively hitting the ask than the bid. This is a huge sign of strength. Whenever you see this, there's strength inside of the markets in this direction. In this case, we have buying imbalances here, showing us a strength. Now, I'm explaining here, it's like, okay, with this buying imbalance, we should definitely see that continued push to the upside. Like, I'm not even worried about my position anymore, and I actually thought about trailing my stop to right under that buying imbalance because it's right there. We should just push up into the high of day, which was my take profit, which, as you guys can see, like the full TP was hit. So with the full TP hit, I adjusted my stop loss and I adjusted my take profit to what my next projection would have been, which now I'm kind of debating on where I'm going to have my stop here, which ideally I think I put my stop under this candle low because I just wanted to see price push straight through. And as you guys could see back over here on the risk to reward tool, which I'm going to probably fast forward a little bit here. Once I adjust my stop loss, I'm securing a bare minimum of a 5R multiple, and I'm willing to give 1R multiple of potential reward to gain an extra, let's call it 3R multiple in this situation if this is an extra 1R multiple here. So that's what I'm willing to give back to the market, just 1R multiple, which is about $12,000 in this situation here. So you guys can see price consolidates for a little bit. We attempt to push through the high of day, which we ultimately did end up pushing through high of day, but I ended up getting stopped out before in the process here. You guys can see that there was some buying absorption up here. We had a little temporary pullback, which I knew was going to be a great probability of happening, but again, I was willing to give back at least 1R multiple because I just wanted to see strength actually continue and that big breakout to the upside. Other than that, guys, that is the rest of my trade. If you guys want to trade live with me every single day, Monday through Friday, make sure you guys click that link in the description so we can also execute trades like this together as well. And I'll see you guys then.